on today's Into Your Head podcast number 690. Loads of stuff.
Into your head, into your head, into your head, into your head, into your head.
I've always been of the opinion that children should be seen and not herded like sheep around all over the place. You can't be going. If you have enough children to herd around, then that's too many. You'd have a herd, you'd have to have 15 or 20. You can't have 2 or 3 sheep and say this is a herd. It's not. It's just a couple of loose stray sheep. To have any kind of a financially viable herd of animals, you need at least a dozen. That's not to say that you can't own 2 or 3 sheep, but you can't claim to be a sheep farmer if you just have 2 or 3. No, you're just a hobbyist. You're just the equivalent. You're the animal equivalent. Well, the livestock owning equivalent of the small back gardener who grows vegetables in his. Not that there's anything wrong with that. My father used to grow vegetables in his vegetable patch. That's what it was for. Hence the name vegetable patch. It was more than a patch. It was the entire fucking garden. By the time he got going, he covered the entire garden. He dug up every bit of grass almost in the entire back garden and built a terrace because it was on a mountain and filled it up with vegetables and crap. I don't mean to sound negative when I say crap. No, you put crap on your vegetables to help them grow. It's a normal part of the process, and you city dwellers won't be familiar with this, but all of that stuff that you buy that's growing on farms down the country, it's all got crap poured on it. Same with the cows. If you're eating meat, that meat had crap in it, and the crap came from the vegetables which grew in crap. They put crap on the vegetables and they feed the vegetables to the cows, and the cows eat the vegetables, including the crap that's on them, and then they have a crap, but the crap that comes out of the cows is not necessarily the crap that was on the vegetables. They don't have I know cows have a very sophisticated 4-stomach digestive system, but they're not able to separate the vegetables from the manure just like that. No, because for one thing, the manure is being incorporated into the vegetables. Cows are not frigging chemists. They can't go in and separate the different elements of the frigging food. No, but they do create their own crop then from that. It's a bit like. How would I explain it? It's a bit like if you're making some sort of potato, or let's say you're making mince meat. You're making cheap mince meat that they sell in the supermarket, and you put in 80% mince meat and 20% sawdust, and you merge them together. Now, if you were to give that mince meat to a cow and say, eat that, and make sawdust and sawdust and mince meat out of this, and the cow says, I'll try, I'll eat it all up, but then you'll have to kill me and make the mince meat out of me, and you make the sawdust from whatever part of me is wood. I suppose my antlers. Do cows have antlers? Maybe bulls do, I don't know. Is that wood, the antlers? I've probably picked a bad example here. No, antlers are made from the stuff that they put in the piano, with your man Stevie Wonder and Paul McCartney had a song about it. They said ebony and ivory live together in perfect harmony, side by side on my piano, keyboard, oboe and harmonica. I have a harmonica here. It's all black. The part that you blow into and the part where the air comes out was all black. There's no white keys on this at all. It's a racist, basically. They're saying only black people are interested in harmonicas. It's all old blue players. That's what they're trying to tell me. House of Marbles England is the manufacturer, or claiming to be anyway, or someone's claiming that they're the manufacturer. I'm not alleging the House of Marbles are claiming to be the manufacturer. No, just because someone engraved the words House of Marbles, England on the harmonica, that doesn't mean it was done by House of Marbles or with their authorization. This could well be a cheap rip-off fake House of Marbles imitation harmonica. Or maybe it's not. I don't know. I don't even know where House of Marbles, a reputable harmonica manufacturer that he'd want to rip off. Are they the Nike of the harmonica industry? I don't know. Couldn't care less. Served me perfectly fine for years. This my second harmonica of my life. I go through harmonicas the same way I go through sets of teeth. I had a harmonica as a child that I got for my birthday when I was 6 or 7. I had that into my teens, and then I lost that. In my 20s. In my late 20s, I got a new harmonica. I got my adult harmonica set. The harmonica set grew in. Well, it didn't grew in, but that's the teeth analogy. Anyway, hello and welcome to the show. 2 herds of sheep walk into a bar. One representative of one of the herds of sheep goes straight up to the bar counter and says, "Hello, can I have a pint of your finest Guinness, please?" And the man behind the bar says, "Certainly, sir. Is this going to be shared among your entire herd? And is that all one herd that's just come in there, or is there more than one? Are you a couple of separate groups? Because it's hard to tell, quite frankly. You all look the same to me." And the sheep says, "Oh, not at all. I understand. That's fine. If I was a black sheep, would you say that to me? Tell me that. Would you say you all look the same to me?" And the man behind the bar says, "No, I would not, because usually when there's a black sheep, there's just 1 or 2 of them, and the rest of them are white, so they don't all look the same. They stand out. They're like that's why they have the phrase, the black sheep of the family. If your family had a black sheep, it would stand out, I can tell you, unless you were a family of black sheep. Is there such a thing as a family of black sheep? I don't know. You never see a group of black sheep together, so I presume it just happens that once every now and then one of the offspring is a black sheep. In other words, they're naturally integrated into the sheep community, which is a good example for us all, I can tell you. Anyway, pint of Guinness, is it?" And the sheep says, "Yes. Have you lost interest in your question about whether or not we're all a single herd or more than one?" And the barman says, "Yes, I've lost interest in that. I have no idea why I asked it, to be perfectly honest. Just occurred to me." And the sheep says, "Well, I wouldn't mind answering it. I'll have a go at I don't mind having a go at tackling a question every now and then. Keeps my mind alert, helps me. That's why my mind is more advanced than the average sheep. As you can see here now, I'm able to talk to a man in a bar. You don't train your mind to do advanced stuff like that without challenging it every now and then. So I'll have a go at the question." And the barman says, "Oh, fair enough then. Go ahead." And the sheep says, "What was the question?" And the man behind the bar says, "I think it was, are ye all a single herd of sheep, or is there more than one herd in the group of sheep that just walked in, or whatever?" And the sheep says, I don't know. I've no role in the organisation of us as a herd. Why would I as a sheep take a role or support the organisation of us into groups of commercially viable selections of us that are going to be eventually sent to slaughter? Oh no, I wouldn't support that. It's not that I can do anything about it, although I seem to be in here, so I suppose I could just not go back to the farm after this. Now that's interesting. I hadn't thought of that. Clearly my mind isn't as well trained or advanced as I thought it was. And the barman says, "Indeed, no, it's not. No, it's not. I can't help thinking that ironically, under the animal welfare and protection legislation, I now have a duty to report a stray sheep to the authorities so that they can come and rescue you and put you back on the farm where you're eventually going to be killed." And the sheep says, "Oh, I can see your dilemma there." And the barman says, "It's not a dilemma at all. I'm getting on the phone now here to the animal welfare authorities. Hello, is that the the animal welfare authorities. And the sheep says, no, this isn't the animal welfare authorities. And the barman says, I'm talking to the man on the phone. And the sheep says, oh, I wonder what he'll make of you saying I'm talking to the man on the phone. And the barman says, stop, you're confusing me. And the sheep says, I know, life is confusing. Life is confusing. And the barman says, indeed it is. And then he hangs up the phone, and the sheep says, will that be all, sir? And the barman says, well, indeed, thank you very much, and a great night is had by all. I know what you're thinking there. You're thinking, oh, this is a very sheep-centric episode. Well, no, you've only heard a third of the episode so far. You've heard around 33 to 32%, I'd say. I know people would normally say 32 to 33%, but there's no law saying that you have to say all your sentences in numerical order. No. The English language is not ruled by numbers. It's ruled by the alphabet. So if you look at 33 and 32 alphabetically, let's see, I have to think about that. No, that doesn't work. Or does it? No, 3. Indeed it does, because 3 has a H and then 2 has a W. So yes, if you were doing it in alphabetical order, 33 would luckily come before 32. That's a happy coincidence, because that's what I'd been claiming was the case. I just hadn't fact-checked until then. But no, our English language system nowadays, unlike the ancient Romans, we don't base our language on numbers. We've our numbers on languages. We have numbers over there and letters over there and clowns in the rest of... clowns to the left. There's a song that goes, clowns to the left of me, jokers to the right. But then that would be ours. Bollocks. Anyway, you get the idea. You have numbers over there, clowns over there. Let's say you have numbers over there to the back left, where you'd have your back left speaker in a surround sound system, and then you have jokers up to the front left, and then you have clowns up to the front right. You have the alphabet onto the back left, and up in the front in the middle, where you usually have the speaker that sits on top of the television that just does dialogue. I don't know what you have there, but we'll think of something if we need to. It's there if I need it. I don't at the moment. Or maybe I do, I just don't know yet. You need a, if I remember rightly from my days of having a budget surround sound home digital Dolby digital system in my bedroom many years ago, there was a speaker on top of the television, and it was just for the dialogue. You'd have the thunder coming out of the back and out of the subwoofer. I forgot there's the subwoofer as well. Big speaker that does the thudding bass sound. Goes thud 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 thud. If you're watching Arnie Schwarzenegger stamping on someone's head, then the sound of the stumping would come out of the subwoofer in a way. Well, the thuddy, the deep bass parts of it. Anyway, as I say, I know what you're thinking there. You're thinking this episode is very sheep-centric, which it wasn't at the time that I started this. It was only 32 to 33% sheep, but I've done another 3 minutes now. And in fact, now that I think about it, these 3 minutes haven't been sheep-centric, so it's still only 32 to 33%, which means it's not only the majority, but at least 2/3 of this show are non-sheep-centric so far, although they haven't been made yet. Maybe they'll be more sheep-centric then. I don't know. Does it really matter? Who's counting this? Are you getting out a spreadsheet and doing a breakdown of what kind of topics are taking up the various amounts of percentages of my shows? Because if you are, quite frankly, that's not the way it was intended. This podcast was intended to be used. There's an intended uses for this podcast, but that's not one of them. No, it's not a frigging crossword. No, I tell you, if it was. If it was, then it wouldn't sound like this. No. suppose you could have an audio crossword as a podcast. Deaf people would, blind people would like that. Or would they? Maybe they wouldn't. Who am I to speak on behalf of all blind people? I do have quite poor eyesight myself, of a deteriorating type. Well, it doesn't give me a right to speak on behalf of everyone in the world who has ever had a problem with their vision. No. I've had a problem with my television these last few days. My Sky remote broke again because I got a cheap, crappy imitation pirated one. But I got a new one yesterday, so everything's going to be okay. As the song goes, don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing. Was it Bob Marley? I think I was one of them people. One of them. I know it has the Daz ads of the 1990s. They show someone washing their whites and it coming out white. So you don't have to worry, because everything's going to be all fine because they use this washing powder. They don't seem to have coloured washing powder yet. They make all sorts of advances, but all of the washing powders are still just white. If you get out a dishwasher tab now, it's got all sorts of fancy colours. You have a blue bit in the middle and a red ball on top of that on the more sophisticated ones. But no, these so supposedly advanced washing powders that they're adding new features to every year are still all just white powder. Might as well just be flour. If you get some flour and put it in your washing machine, it'll probably be just as good. Or if you get flowers, is there such a thing as flowers? Oh, there is. Of course there's such a thing as flowers. That's not what I was meaning to ask. What I meant was there's such a thing as a flower that's powdery. You could break it down like a dandelion or something, except it would have to be more thicker. As you could break down between the palms of your hands, it would become a white powder, or else a different colour powder that you could dye, maybe using some sort of pollen, although there's probably no white pollen. Pollen probably makes this is all a presumption, of course, because I know very little about this, but pollen, I'm pretty sure, is mostly yellows and reds and colours like that. I doubt there's any white pollen in flowers. I could probably look this up a bit more. Don't rely on this. There's other science podcasts where they do research. This isn't one of the other podcasts. That's why I refer to those as others. We're back to cows again. We are on cows. I was about to say we were never on cows, we were on sheep, but no, we were on cows way back in the distant past. When we started the current episode of Into Your Head podcast. Hello. Now it's time for a break. If you've been going on since the distant past, I'm pretty sure the damn Christ as hell is short time for a brief interlude.
Support the podcastual arts at no cost to you. Just click through the Amazon link at intoyourhead.com whenever you go shopping for anything, even if you use Amazon UK or Canada. We'll take your weird foreign money here. We're not proud. Just visit intoyourhead.com and click on the appropriate Amazon banner.
You are listening to Into Your Head, all the way from Ireland.
Need more? Subscribe to the free reruns and extras feed and shut your stupid ugly face. See intoyourhead.com/archive for details.
Into your head.
Remember, we value the opinions of you, the humble and ignorant listener.
Send your topic suggestions to studio@intoyourhead.com.
Follow Neal at twitter.com/intoyourheadpod and pretend to like him at facebook.com/intoyourheadpodcast.
Into your head.
You may have noticed the addition of a child to the inter-segment promotional lineup, the interval, to put it another way, although I didn't put it very well before the interval because I said the interva and then cut myself off, and then I had to record myself saying the word interval separately and edit it in, and it sounds fucking ridiculous. Anyway, that brings me to my point. The presence of a child's voice, or an actor playing a child, whatever you like to imagine it is, in the ad break, does not mean to say that this show has suddenly become suitable for children. It hasn't. It's not. It's still not suitable for children. And if you're a child listening to this, go away. Go away. I know what you're thinking there. You're thinking, if there's a child, how can there be a child on it if it's not suitable for children? We'll go and watch Child's Play the movie and get back to me, and then we'll see. We'll see what we. People get all worked up over this. They say, there's a soap opera on the BBC. They used to say this 20 years ago when there was a soap opera on the BBC called El Dorado, and it had some woman in a wheelchair on it, and there was a controversy saying these people, if you're playing they said something along the lines of this. They said, bollocks. They said if you're playing a disabled person in a drama, you should be disabled yourself. Which is a little patronising, if you ask me. That's suggesting that actors can't act, and they have to be played by people who are really the character. Wait a minute, that's not what I meant to say. No, I meant to say people get all upset. They say, if there's a part of a person in a wheelchair which should be played by a person who is genuinely in a wheelchair, it shouldn't be acting. The rest of the actors should be acting. You can have Harry Potter pretending to be a witch. You can have Arnold Schwarzenegger pretending to be funny, but you can't have an able-bodied actor pretending to be disabled. That's one part of acting that's considered non-politically correct. And there used to be a great controversy over this. There isn't anymore. There probably is. I just haven't heard about it because I no longer watch Points of View on BBC One, the listener mailbag programme where people write in and they say, "Dear sir or madam, here is my opinion on your programming output this week." So some programme. The BBC are great for this, to say, we're going to give a cross-section of views from you, the audience, on how well we're serving you. And they say, here's a letter saying we're doing well. And here's a letter saying we're not doing well, and here's another letter saying you're not providing a fair cross-section of the correspondence that you receive. I know for a fact you received 500 letters saying you're doing well, and 499 letters saying you're doing not well, but you read one letter from the 500 and one letter from the 499, which is statistically slightly off. Please do better next time. And then they end the show. They said, please write to us at Points of View. It's on at some god-awful time early on a Sunday afternoon while everyone's waiting for the Antiques programme to come on or for them to die. Anyway, absolutely fucking ridiculous. Anyway, on with the show. Two cats walk into a soap opera. One of the cats goes straight up to the soap opera soundstage. Is that the term? I think it probably is. Isn't that you hear about it when they're saying, Conan O'Brien moved to Hollywood and they built them a new soundstage. It's a stage of sound. It's a bit like your man who's in jail now for killing someone. He was famous for doing a wall of sound. Well, a stage of sound is a bit like that, except it's a stage and you see people on it. You can look at them as well as see them. It's a bit like exactly what it is. You don't need a frigging analogy. You don't need an analogy for everything. I'm perfectly capable of explaining it directly. You don't have to say, a sound stage is a bit like a cat sitting up on a wall meowing. You can look at it and hear it at the same time. Not have the windows closed and you have double glazing. Although maybe if it's doing a mating call, but that's not the same as meowing. Or is it? Is a cat mating call a variation of the meow, or is it considered a different category of sound? I don't know. Anyway, where was I? Something about sound stages. A sound stage, it's a stage that's secure. It's built soundly. It's going to be able to support an elephant if you're going to put an elephant on it, if it's in a circle. Although now that you mention it, most stages are made of flimsy floorboards that wouldn't support an elephant. That's why when you go to a circus, they don't have a stage in the middle. No, they have a big area with sand or something in it. Well, that's not why they do that. They do that because it's a portable circus. They don't bring around the stage with them. You can't be bringing around stages all over. Well, I suppose you can. Every frigging concert has a portable stage. All these bands tour the world and bring their stages with them. Or do they? Here's a question for them. Is the stage provided at the venue, or do they bring the whole stage with them, or do they just get a stage foundation and bring the stage furniture with them so it looks like they've bought their own stage? Here's a question for you. I remember I used to watch Queen videos. They had a Queen at Wembley, and they had a DVD extra or something that had them setting up the stage using a stop motion camera. Oh, and you'd see it being built up from nothing. There'd be nothing there except a joint football stadium, and over the course of a day or two you'd see a stage being built up. You'd see scaffolding going up. You'd see speakers going up. Oh, you'd see all sorts of things going up. It was absolutely fascinating in a not very interesting way. Interesting is not the same as fascinating. You can be fascinated by how stupid something is, and it can be non-interesting, or it can be interesting and non-fascinating probably. I can't be arsed to think this through at the moment. I'm sure on another day when I'm in the mood I could get 15 minutes out of that concept. I don't know. I thought of a good name for a cat last night, though. I can't remember. I never remember my new cat names after I think of them, so I've started emailing them to myself. So let's see what it is now. Cat name. I just search my Gmail for cat. Oh, there it is. It's approximately 7 minutes past 7 last night. I thought of a name for a cat. Oaky, spelled O-A-K-Y. I suppose you could spell it other ways, but if I ever get a new cat again, I'm going to call her Oaky. Now I've got several other cat names that I've thought of in the past, but I hadn't initiated my system of recording them, so I don't remember what any of them are. So Oaky gets unfair precedence only because it's the first one that I recorded. Made a note of it to myself. There's been at least 15 good cat names that I've thought of over the past year, and they've all disappeared out of my head within an hour because I didn't record them. So I'm not saying that Oaky is one of my best cat names ever. It's just the best so far since I started this system of recording possible cat names. You'd be surprising how quickly you run out of cat names if you're me. They all have to. There's rules in this house. All cat names have to end with the E sound, as in Y or I. So you're kind of limited there. That's why if you come up with a good cat name, make damn sure to make a note of it. And write it down and send it to yourself. Post it off to yourself in a letter. Isn't that a song? Post it off to yourself. Ricky, don't lose that number. It's the only one you need. Put it off in a letter to yourself and write it in your something. Oh, Ricky, don't lose the number. It's the only one you need. That's the sort of song you'd hear on the jukebox in Eddie Rockets. The 60s diner, or is it 50s? I don't know. It's a diner based around one of those old-fashioned American-style diners with the waitresses and the burgers and the straws and the milkshakes and all sorts of stuff like that. The checkered floor and the booths and the mad druggy colours. Although the 60s, was that before the psychedelic drug era? It probably was. Although they were probably putting something in those brownies. Probably chocolate or whatever hell you make. I've never made brownies. I don't know what they're made out of. I'm sure it's not very complicated. Apparently the Girl Guides of America make them all the time and shove them into people's faces in the workplace. Apparently you hear about this on sitcoms and Dilbert strips all the time. You hear about some poor bastard going into work in an American office and his co-workers come up to him and say, my child made these brownies, buy 25 of them or you'll be hated and demoted for the rest of your career. Poor bastards. Anyway, good morning.